India, wherever, there is a royal visit or a prime ministerial visit or a high-level trade visit, the first question that comes out from the press and from the people is, can we have our diamond back? Is it okay to have our diamond back? You want a trade deal? We'd like our diamond back.
Really?
So it is very current currency because it isn't a new controversy to India. This is a controversy that stretches back to 1850 when the diamond first came to Britain. So for Indians, it is not just a gem, it is a diplomatic grenade. It is a symbol of the humiliation of colonization. And that's because there's a very painful story wrapped up in the latest part of the relay race for this diamond. So I should say that this is a diamond that's passed through many different empires' hands. It's gone through the Mughals, it's gone through the Persians, it's gone through the Afghans, and many countries lay claim to it. But the latest owners before Britain were the Indians. And the way in which it was taken, I know some people like to say it was a gift, but unless a gift is sort of delivered at the point of bayonet, from a child, it is no gift. So it's a story of a 10-year-old Maharaja, a little boy, who was on the throne in Punjab, which is in the north of India, and a man, Governor General Dalhousie, who has this enormous desire to symbolize the handing over of India as a colonial gift to Queen Victoria. And nothing symbolizes this more than this diamond, which doesn't look at that time like it does now. So, Stig, I don't know whether you've been to the Tower of London or seen it in the Queen Consort's crown, but it's a shiny little thing, a blingy thing at the moment. It used to be twice the size. It used to be the size and heft of a hen's egg and worn on the arm of a Maharaja to symbolize power and dominion. So this little boy in 1849 is separated from his mother, separated from everybody he trusts, and he's forced to sign a treaty that he probably doesn't understand by men he's pretty frightened of, which gifts the diamond to Britain. Certainly, when it comes to England, it's a representation of India has fallen to you, Your Majesty. So even now, you can imagine with a BJP in power, a party that wants to rid itself of that colonial shame, it is going to be almost unbearable to see that flaunted in a crown on a big coronation day before the world's eyes, because it's a symbol of that sort of colonial humiliation to India.
That's a really good point. We'll have to see what the politics of this ends up being. This question, the morality of empire is always interesting for everyone to get into, because, as you say, this is a diamond that has bounced around different empires. So at different stages, it's had transferred as a notion of power. It's been robbed, if you want to put it that way, by different empires for their own ends. At what point? How far back can you go? Because should it go to Afghanistan, therefore, who had it before the Maharaja potentially? How do you trace back further than the previous owner, I suppose?
I mean, certainly that is something that William Dalrymple and I, who've both done the podcast and the book together, have decided is not our job to sort that out. There are high-paid lawyers and politicians who make their money doing this kind of thing. All we can do is tell you the facts of this stone. And you're absolutely right. It's passed through empires, and many people have made claims to it even fairly recently. I think it was the last official request to have it back officially from a head of state was from Pakistan in the 70s. India, wherever there is a royal visit or a prime ministerial visit or a high-level trade visit, the first question that comes out from the press and from the people is, can we have our diamond back? Is it okay to have our diamond back? You want a trade deal? We'd like our diamond back.
Really?
So it is very current currency. As far as where does it go back to, certainly other countries think they have a claim. And there was one time that William and I were doing a Facebook chat about the diamond, which has, I mean, if you like Game of Thrones has nothing on the history of this diamond. Some of the scenes from Game of Thrones are taken literally from, or could have been taken literally from, don't know George R.R. Martin if you're listening with your lawyers, but there are scenes in the diamond's history where people have molten gold poured over their heads to reveal the location of the diamond. Many sort of similarities, and having their children tortured before their eyes to reveal where it is. But we did this Facebook chat, and it was suddenly Indians were saying, give it back to us. Pakistanis were saying, give it back to us. Iran woke up, said, no, actually, we'd like it back. The Afghans said, no, it's ours. So there is a lot on the back of this diamond. There always has been. It's always represented power. It's always represented glory, and it therefore represents humiliation when you lose it. But the manner in which it was lost by India, not through battle, not through you know a war, but through a little boy supposedly signing it over as a gift, is the thing that opens it up to, I think, a lot more of an emotional an emotional realm to Indians. And even at the time, by the way, I should say, when the diamond came here to Britain, the newspapers knew it wasn't a gift. But I think that's what really rankles. They knew, and they would even say, and I found a little thing from Lloyd's Weekly, which talks about Dalhousie giving it as a gift to Queen Victoria, saying, this is for you, Your Majesty. India is so grateful that you are here in charge. And the paper said, though the Marquis of Dalhousie has substantially made Her Majesty a present of the gem, in point from the boy Duleep Singh ceded it to the Queen. But such a secession is a mockery. The lad did exactly what he was bid, and he would have made it over with equal facility to the chief of the Cherokee Indians had Lord Dalhousie directed him. He signed the paper placed before him, regardless of its content, and the responsibility of its terms entirely rest with the Governor General. So they knew, there was no sort of, if you like, complicity from a little boy to say, actually, this is my decision to give it over.